Okay, so let's start this, right? So the 2022 paper, let's start with the module one, right, for it. Why this looks so? They completely changed the entire structure of the paper. Alright, lovely. So define the term private law. What, define the term private law. That should be easy. What's private law? What's private law? Anyone? Okay, so I'm not sure. Are you guys hearing me?
Sir,
Not sure. Go ahead.
private law, sir, private law, the process by which the private rights of citizens are arbitrated. These private rights must be of first.
Okay. Never quite heard you clearly. So okay, well, we're looking at the private law, right? So it's saying that it's governed through citizens. Okay, so let's look at this, right? So generally, private law would have been the system of law that governs relationship between individuals and entities within the society, right? So it can be between individuals and specific entities, and it deals with stuff like obligations, legal disputes, involving private parties, involving individuals, organizations, and businesses, right? So those type of thing. It tends to be individual between individual or individual between any entity. So it's generally between individuals or between entities within society. While public law now governs the relationship between the individuals and the state, right? As well as the structure and operation of the government itself, and includes constitutional law, administrative law, criminal law, right? While the private law would constitute, let's say, family law, torts, stuff like that, right? Just stating the two differences between them, right? So we have that what private law is, and the two types of private law. I'm not sure if types speak to like specific types of private law, or if it speaks to like torts and something else, torts and contracts. I'm not sure if it speaks to stuff like that.
That's
So torts and contracts, that could be a suitable answer there, probably. All right. Outline three differences between private law and public law, right? So private law is between individual, right, and other entities within society, while public law is between the individuals and or the entities and the state, right? Private law generally is what now? Let's look at that. What are the main differences between private and public law? Go ahead.
Sir, I would say the definition itself, one being between the state and an individual, and the other between two parties.
Okay. So there are three different areas. We could categorize them into three different areas of differences, right? The parties involved, right? So for private, it would be individual and individual, right? And for public, it would be individual and state, right? So parties involved is the first thing. I don't know if I want to write it. Do I want to write it? I don't know. Parties involved, right? Just different principles, right? The second one could be the nature of the issues. So with private, it tends to be with personal, commercial matters such as contracts, property, family law, torts, those type of thing.
Excuse me,
Right?
sir.
Go ahead.
Sir, I didn't hear what was the two types of private law. Sir, would it be like real property and those are no?
Okay, the thing is that that's what I was wondering whether or not it would be examples, right? I would just give two different distinct types of public law. Not well, it's private law they ask for. Private law.
Private, yes, sir.
So I would probably put towards some contracts or towards real property or something like that.
Okay, sir.
If it's actually a type and there are actually specific types that are outlined by the syllabus, then so be it. I'm not I'm not currently aware of any specific typing that they give in the syllabus. Right? These can be divided by purposes as well. Right? So public and private can be divided by purpose as well. So we know that with public law, the general purpose is to deliberate, right? Or well, basically resolve conflict between individuals, right? So it resolves conflicts or provides remedies, right? Or brand different types of rights or duties among private parties. While with public law now, we know that it ensures government actions are lawful, protects individual rights, and maintain public order and welfare. So you can note these different areas in which they are different, right? If you look at those are generally so you have difference in legal proceedings as well. Legal proceedings are also different between them, right? Because in public law, if we look at it, right, the state it's initiated often by the state. So it's often initiated by the state. It's not only, but often initiated by the state or government authority to enforce laws or prosecute offenses, right? We look at stuff like that. But if we look at private law now, right, it's legal proceeding. It's often initiated by private individuals, right, which are seeking redress for grievances or the enforcement of rights. Right, so they're different in these four fundamental pillars that make them different, right? The parties that are involved in the law, the nature of the issues that are dealt with public and private law, right? The purpose of public and private law, and the legal proceedings, the matters, right? In public and private law. You could even speak about the severity of the sentencing and the severity of the result, right? Because public law tends to be more severe than private law. You could speak about these things. All right? 6 marks for that. Okay. Mr. Black's coffee tree fell on Mr. Green's wall and also damaged Mr. Green's car. Mr. Green, in a fit of rage, struck Mr. Black on the head, injuring him. Hold on. Is this criminal law? No, it isn't, right? Not necessarily, right? I was wondering if it's a section for criminal law, right? It's not, because we don't even reach module 2 yet. So this module 1, right? So let me start over. So Mr. Black's coconut tree fell on Mr. Green's wall and also damaged Mr. Green's car. Right, Mr. Green, in a fit of rage, struck Mr. Black on the head, injuring him. Mr. Green then broke the windshield of Mr. Black's car. Mr. Green is arrested and charged. Right, Mr. Green retains you as his attorney to deal with all legal issues arising from the matter. He instructs you as his attorney to convince the magistrate at the hearing to have Mr. Black pay immediately for all the damages he suffered. Using one decided case or example to support your answer, explain how the classification of law will deal with the following matters. So, Mr. Green's injuring Mr. Black. What type of law would that go under now?
Private law.
Private. So the injury of Mr. Black would be private law? Are we sure? Will it be private or public? Isn't that technically like wounding with some amount of intent? Isn't that like criminal offense? I think that would be public in nature. Public criminal, right? So that's how we classify those things. And damages to property, no, that would be private, right? Under real property, right? Or you could, well, depending on it, because you have offenses against the property, right, and stuff like that. But offenses against property is different from real property, right? Real property is more private, and this is real property, right? So we're looking at stuff like that. So we know how the classification of law will help with the following matters, right? If you classify a law, we know the reasons why we classify a law, right? It puts them into distinct categories so it's easier to find redress within these specific issues, right? And also it allows for more specialization so you can now have persons that are specialized within these specific areas and allows ease of education and understanding through the compartmentalization of the different laws into these different sections, right? And if we use one case, what would be one case that we could use? One sided case that we could use here to support, to explain this now. So what we're supposed to do, is help him, right? We're using an example or decided case, and then while we're helping him or while we finish the major part of the question, we must explain how the classification helped us in dealing with the matter, right? So what would assist in this case, right? What case would assist? If we do have a case, we can use an example. So it's fine if we don't have a case here, we have an example to use, right? So you could provide an example or a case that can assist you in this case. Alright? So the damage of property, the tree fell down of damage of property, and then in a fit of rage, right? He attacked him, right? And then we're looking at how we can allow for some legal redress, right? So Mr. Green retains as the attorney. All you have to do is now instruct him, assist him, right, on all the different issues of the case. Give him some rules. Give him something that he can work with, right? Analyze the situation and analyze the precedent of the case that you gave as well, or the precedent that would come from the example that you provided, right? And then you have a conclusion, all right? So generally, an IRAC format would work here. Everything there should be fine. Not sure if there are any issues with anybody.